Jordan, you ready?
Oh boy, yeah.
So do you mind if I stand here?
Oh, go for it.
Oh, it's sort of fine. So fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're going to be speaking for about 2 hours. Just kidding.
yeah. Hi, my name's Jordy DeYoung. I've worked at a Lyme clinic on and off for 8 years. Just different Lyme clinics. I worked with my dad for 5 years. He passed away, and found new ones right away. And people are pretty receptive in West Michigan. I've always been fortunate for that. My job has been supplements, and it's been energy medicine. So the Jernigans and all the super supplements, I've seen them all, and there's a ton of hope put out through them. They don't always work for everyone. Some of them don't work at all. And the biomeridian scans are the only way that I believe that you can get the right thing to the right person in the right quantity. So that could be QXCI, Skio, Asira, Zyto. There's other biomeridian machines. They all work pretty good, and they all work basically along the same lines. I use the Zyto. In 2006, I got trained for the second time with OnDemand. I guess you'd call it my advanced training. And my trainer, he had Lyme, and a patient had Lyme, and we got in an argument. And I saw the checklist for Lyme disease, and I filled it out, and I had about 10 of the symptoms. I said, I bet I have it. I have enough exposure to the outside and all this stuff, and it turned into a gamble. And like Tim said, it's not who has it, but to what extent do people have it. And I was positive through iGenex. And what I did is I didn't treat it as a deadly diagnosis. I did see people die from it, at that time, but I knew that it wasn't the only option. I knew that you could pull through it. For some reason, I don't like antibiotics a whole lot. I don't think I do well with them. I never took them as a kid. When I got the flu, they weren't given to me. That was part of my dad's thing. He wouldn't give me antibiotics. He said, build your own immune system. He said, take glyconutrients, take minerals, take zinc, and drink a lot of water, and go to school and work, and get outside. I don't know, it was interesting. Also, along those same lines, I wasn't put on Ritalin too, even though I got the same diagnosis as everyone else. ADD, and you've seen that drug chart of America where all kids like 5 through 18, they get on they get on Ritalin or Adderall, and then you get on Xanax for stress when you get out of college, and when you get older, then you get put on all the rest. But that's when I got exposed to neurofeedback for that, and that was my first biofeedback sessions, and they worked a whole lot. And that's just you syncing in the brainwaves that you have. It's not really giving you anything, which I got into later. If you do like pulse electromagnetic fields, different Schumann resonance devices, you can train your brain and give it things that it's missing. And I've got CDs, and NASA did a study proving nerve regeneration. The results of the experiment over the control are insane. It was a 10 hertz variable duty cycle. It gets really technical, but it has to. And I'm glad they put it out, and I'm glad that some of the government's saying, we've got the fix. It's right here. The astronauts use pulse electromagnetic fields. But anyways, I had the OnDemand, and I was training for it. I started training for it 5 years ago, out of the 8. And one time I go down to Toledo, and this he was a cardiovascular doctor that wrote a book with it's called Reversing Heart Disease, but I don't want to say his name specifically because I didn't ask him beforehand. He had all kinds of things, and he had this device stood about up to my hip, and he says, this thing treats everyone in the whole room and maybe further. And it goes up to 100,000 hertz, and the device I was training people on only went up to 30,000, had poor frequency graduation, etc. It didn't have the technical specifications of this. So that piqued my interest, and a little while later I was having trouble dealing with people's serious candida problems that they were coming in with. These, I was at a Lyme disease clinic, and these people on antibiotics got put on a lot of, or they ended up getting candida. They got fungal infections, and that happens all the time. So I supposedly had frequencies for it, like 750 hertz they said, get on to that. I look online, pulsed electromagnetic field, candida, destruction. And that company that I saw the machine at in Ohio, which I don't see in the back of Cure magazines or any of this, they had proof, and they did it in Romania because you can't do that kind of research over here. And they did it with their proprietary frequencies. Remember I said 750 hertz? They used 55,155, 99,180. These were high rates. And they were their own frequency calculations. And there's frequencies for everything. There's frequencies for every single molecule, amino acid. As long as it has a defined chemical structure, you can mimic it with a frequency. One example to make you understand this is breakfast. When you eat breakfast, you feel full, but your cells don't have the food, although you get energy right away from it. It's all molecular signaling. That's just a little example. So anyways, I buy their, at the time, $1,500 unit. It's got a better warranty now. It's $2,000. But anyways, I have my $25,000 device that's FDA approved, and I have a $1,500 device, and I'm giving people the $1,500 device therapy for nothing. If they get the other one. I want to determine if it works, if I was ever going to charge for it. And I saw a couple Amish people, I know it's counterintuitive, but they were seeing me for Lyme disease. And if it wasn't going to work, they were going to go to Tijuana and get hyperthermia, which I also got, by the way, in Germany. It's also in the Bahamas, I'm told, by a friend who just got prostate cancer and got treated there. That works fantastic. Beefs up your immune system. Another friend in town, his mom had Lyme disease. It's just well known now, everyone's getting it. She ran a fever and almost died, and when she broke the fever, she didn't have Lyme disease anymore, and all her symptoms went away. So that happens. Heat works very well. But back to these devices. So this $1,500 device, I went from seeing people from 60 sessions, no real remediation of the Lyme kind of work, like an advanced form of acupuncture where you're delivering a specific rate to a specific part of the body, and you can balance it that way, but you're not getting to these high resonances. Ultraviolet C kills and is absorbed. That's how it works. It's absorbed by viruses, and that's why you have those UV sterilization lights. The infrared spectrum is where the bacteria absorbs the energy. And through increased harmonics, like if you, on a violin or a guitar, if you stop the string at certain points, it travels up higher octaves and you get higher notes from that. And that's how the device works. So there has to be calculations. The calculations here are copyrighted, just like DVD encryption and all this stuff. So that's a problem. It's a problem that you can engineer bacteria and patent the bacteria. That's a problem. But anyways, like Bob Beck, like Royal Raymond Rife, like Tesla, who used radiant coherent frequencies to transmit energy wirelessly. The plasma works the same way. There's a little unit that's contact only. It works fantastic. Computers think it's the same thing. It's the same signal generating boards. Those things. It was 12 sessions compared to 60 is what I want to say. My Andamet, and I never know that it ever killed Lyme disease. I don't think you could ever, build up the frequency rates high enough with the harmonics. Rise time is extremely important and different with all Rife machines. It has to be under 20 microseconds. The amplitude also needs to be maintained, or else you energize something. And if you don't continue to energize it to the point that the bonds break, got a mutated, stronger form of what you had before. So when you go to attack a microbe, instead of just say do like 10 hertz nerve healing, make sure you have a good device. And then I needed to talk about infrared saunas for a bit. I talked a little bit about that, the absorption spectra of the bacteria. Also, since Lyme disease is many different microbes, and the toxins, 150 different toxins from the Borrelia alone, cause all the symptoms. Sweating, obviously, is the best way to get that out of you. It's the best way to get the metals out of you, and it's the cheapest way too. It doesn't take 200 chelation appointments. All this stuff is home-based. Another thing I can do with the Zyto is that thing, that hand cradle you can buy offline or anywhere, but it saves on doctor's visits. And I know people like my uncle. His cat was outside, sat on his lap. He's bit by a tick. It jumped off the cat. He's got Lyme disease. Like, how many times were we going to get it, and how long are these antibiotics going to work? Because the WHO says they're not going to work for very much longer. There's a gene, I think it's called NDH1, that's being passed from bacteria to bacteria, making all bacteria resistant to any antibiotics. And the ways that they can recombine the antibiotics, which also make them more toxic. And the WHO paper is March 14, 2012, too. And them admitting it to me, frankly, scares me. And I see the resin technologies, the colloidal silver, when it's done right. One of the ways you can check that is take a laser pointer, point it through your colloidal silver. If you see laser reflection, that's bad news. That means 15 to 30 atoms per molecule. It's called the Tilden effect. You want diatomic molecules, which means that it's pure silver molecules when you make it. They attach to the oxygen receptor sites on the bacteria cells, essentially suffocating them. I brought CDs. I don't think I have enough quite for everybody, but your activists, make them. I've got a Yahoo group where I have a ton of frequency files, and I keep on sharing new ones as they come out. If you think about reinfections, if you think about people you can help with this, having a device or having a sauna in your house is the only way you're going to be able to help your friends. And I have so many patients that come from so long, 3 hours away, 6 hours away. They come from Ohio to see me, and they come from Ohio to go to the clinic. It's scary. If gas was $7 a gallon, they wouldn't make it. And that, I could see that happening legitimately. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope everyone gets fixed for now with antibiotics, and I believe that still works. It's just, and when you do the saunas too, make sure you take minerals before and after. Just like running marathons or anything, these things deplete you, and you need to take a lot of magnesium, especially B vitamins, vitamin C, CalMags, and multivitamins. This is before and after every single sauna, on top of what you're already taking to feel well. Thanks.